Welcome back to Talk About It in English, the channel that helps you talk about real life in clear, natural English. It is Monday morning. You are standing in the office kitchen, waiting for the coffee machine to finish brewing. It is quiet, maybe a little too quiet. Then a colleague walks in, smiles at you, and asks the one question you have been dreading all morning. So, get up to much this weekend? Your brain instantly freezes. You know you did things. You bought groceries, you met a friend, you cleaned your apartment, but in English, your mind goes blank. You feel the panic rising because you don't want to recite a list, but you cannot find the words to tell a story. So you just say, "It was good. I slept." The conversation dies instantly, and you feel boring, even though you are not boring at all.
I know that feeling so well. When I was first learning Spanish and living in Madrid, I used to actually wait in the hallway until the kitchen was empty just to avoid this exact interaction. I was so afraid of looking stupid or having nothing interesting to say that I would literally hide from my coworkers on Monday mornings. It was lonely, and it made me feel like I wasn't really part of the team.
That is exactly what we are fixing today. By the end of this episode, you will have a complete 3-step script to answer this question smoothly, so you never have to hide in the hallway again.
We are going to move you away from those short, robotic answers and help you sound like the interesting person you actually are.
The problem usually isn't that you don't know enough English words. Most of you watching this know the words for cinema or park or restaurant. The problem is the structure. When someone asks, "How was your weekend?" our instinct as learners is to try to translate everything that happened.
Right. We think we need to give a full report. We think accuracy means a timeline. Saturday morning I did this, then Saturday afternoon I did that, then Sunday morning I did this.
Exactly. We call this the list method, and it is the quickest way to kill a conversation. Imagine if I asked you about your weekend, James, and you gave me a list.
Okay, let's try it. I woke up at 8. I had toast for breakfast. I went to the supermarket and bought milk and eggs. Then I came home and washed my clothes. Then I watched a movie. Then I went to sleep.
See, I am already bored, and I am your friend. It sounds like a police report. It is factual, but it has no feeling. It gives me nothing to connect with.
And that is the trap. You feel pressure to be accurate, so you list facts. But your colleague doesn't want facts. They want a connection. They want a highlight.
That brings us to step 1 of our script, the highlight reel.
Think about a movie trailer. When you see a trailer for a new film, they don't show you every single scene from the start to the finish. They show you 2 or 3 exciting moments to give you the feeling of the movie. You need to do the same thing with your weekend.
Instead of summarizing 48 hours, I want you to pick just one thing. It doesn't even have to be a big thing. It could be a meal you cooked, a friend you saw, or even a nap you took. Just one clear detail.
So the structure we want to use here is, it was adjective. I mostly just verb ing.
Let's break that down. It was good is too short, but it was relaxing, I mostly just stayed home is perfect.
Or it was busy. I mostly just ran errands.
Notice the grammar there. I mostly just followed by the ing form of the verb. I mostly just caught up on sleep. I mostly just played video games.
This phrase, mostly just, is a lifesaver. It tells the other person, I did a lot of things, but this is the main vibe. It saves you from having to list every single detail.
Let's practice a few variations of this. James, how was your weekend?
It was pretty low-key, actually. I mostly just read a book I've been meaning to finish.
That is a perfect answer. It is one sentence, but it tells me so much more than it was good. It tells me you were relaxing, it tells me you like reading, and it gives me a clear picture of you on your sofa.
And notice I didn't tell you about my laundry or my grocery shopping or the bus ride. I just gave you the highlight.
Let's try another one. Maybe you had a busy weekend.
It was actually pretty hectic. I mostly just spent time driving my kids to different sports games.
Again, very clear. Hectic is a great word for busy and slightly chaotic, and the focus is on the driving. Now I have empathy for you.
This takes so much pressure off your brain. You don't have to translate your whole life. You just have to scan your memory for one file, one image, and describe that.
But what if you truly did nothing? This is something a lot of our listeners worry about. They think, my life isn't exciting. I just watch TV.
Honestly, that is my favorite kind of weekend. And guess what? It is your colleague's favorite kind of weekend too. You don't need to lie and say you went skydiving. You just need to frame doing nothing in a positive way.
This is where step 2 comes in, the vibe check. This is about choosing the right adjective. If you say, I did nothing, it sounds a bit sad or depressive. But if you say, it was very chilled, suddenly it sounds nice.
Chilled or chill is probably the most common word I use for my weekends. It sounds cool. It sounds intentional.
Another great one is much needed. If you were tired from work and you slept all weekend, don't say, I just slept. Say, it was a much needed reset.
Oh, I love that. A much needed reset. It makes you sound like a professional who takes care of themselves.
Or low-key. We mentioned this before. Low-key means quiet, not a lot of energy, but in a good way. It was a low-key weekend.
So let's combine step 1 and step 2. If you sat on the sofa for 2 days, you don't say, I did nothing. You say, it was really chill. I mostly just caught up on some Netflix series.
Suddenly, you are not a boring person with no life. You are a person who enjoyed a relaxing weekend. The facts are the same, but the story is completely different.
This is really about confidence. I remember when I started using words like chill and hectic instead of just good or bad, people started treating me differently. They started asking follow-up questions.
That is the goal. We want to open the door to conversation, not close it.
Before we move on to step 3, which is the secret weapon for these conversations, I want to remind you that if you are finding these scripts helpful, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are building a whole library of these real-life topics, from talking about your job to handling problems at the bank. If you want to speak about your life, not just study grammar rules, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss next week's topic.
Now let's talk about step 3. You have given your highlight, you have set the vibe. It was chill. I mostly just watched movies. Now, silence.
This is the danger zone. If you stop talking here, the awkwardness comes back. You are standing by the coffee machine, staring at each other.
You need to pass the ball. Conversation is a game of catch. You catch the ball, you look at it for a second, and then you must throw it back.
We call this the bounce back. You need a phrase to flip the question back to your colleague immediately.
The simplest version is, how about you?
How about you is classic. It works in every situation. But if you want to sound a little more natural, a little more fluid, you can say, what about you? Get up to much?
That phrase, get up to much, is very common in spoken English. It means, did you do much, or did you do anything interesting?
It is a bit casual, so maybe don't use it with the CEO of your company on your first day. But with a coworker you see every day, it is perfect. What about you? Get up to much?
Or simply, did you have a good one?
Did you have a good one? Sounds so friendly. It assumes they had a good time.
So let's put the whole 3-step script together. Step 1, the highlight. Step 2, the vibe adjective. Step 3, the bounce back.
Scenario A, the relaxed weekend.
How was your weekend, James?
It was really chill, actually. I mostly just caught up on some sleep. It was a much-needed rest. How about you? Did you have a good one?
That took maybe 8 seconds to say, but look at how much information is in there. You established the mood, chill, the activity, sleep, the reason, needed rest, and you showed interest in me.
And you know what is great about the bounce back? It stops you from worrying about your English. As soon as I ask you a question, you start talking, and I can relax and just listen. It takes the spotlight off me.
That is such a good point. If you are nervous about speaking, the best strategy is to get the other person talking as fast as possible. People love talking about themselves.
Let's try scenario B, the busy weekend. Maybe you had to work or clean or travel.
So, James, how was the weekend?
Honestly, it was a bit manic. I was running around trying to get my apartment organized. But it feels good to have it done. What about you? Get up to much?
Manic. That is a great word. It means crazy busy.
Yeah, manic or hectic. And notice I added a little positive spin at the end. It feels good to have it done. That keeps the energy positive. You don't want to just complain.
Right. If you just say, it was terrible, I cleaned all weekend, you become the negative person in the office. But it was busy, but I got a lot done. Sounds productive.
There is one specific variation we should cover, Lily. The social weekend. What if you actually did go out and see people?
Good question. For that, the structure changes slightly. Instead of I mostly just, you can say I caught up with.
Catch up with is the best phrasal verb for meeting friends. It implies you talked, you swapped news, you reconnected.
So you could say, "It was lovely, actually. I caught up with a few friends from university on Saturday. What about you? Did you do anything special?"
It was lovely. That is a very nice, warm adjective.
It is. It suggests you felt happy and supported.
Okay, I think we have the theory down. We have the 3 steps. But knowing the theory isn't enough. You need to feel these words in your mouth.
Exactly. We are going to run a simulator. We are going to simulate that Monday morning moment right now.
I am going to play the role of your colleague. I will walk into the kitchen and ask you the question. I want you to answer out loud, yes, out loud, wherever you are, using the script we just built.
You can choose to have a chill weekend, a busy weekend, or a social weekend, but you must include the highlight, the adjective, and the bounce back.
Ready? Here we go. I'm walking in, pouring my coffee, turning to you. Hey, good morning. So how was your weekend? Get up to much?
Having a default answer is like having a safety net. Even if your brain freezes, you know you have that one sentence ready to go. It was chill. I mostly just relaxed.
You can use that every single week if you have to. Nobody will notice.
Well, maybe change it slightly if you use it every week for a year, but yes, repetition is fine.
Another tip I have is to prepare your answer on Sunday night. This sounds obsessive, but it helps. When you are getting your bag ready for work, just think, what is my headline?
My headline. I like that.
Yeah, my headline is went to the park or cooked lasagna. Just lock that headline in your brain. So when you walk into the kitchen on Monday, you aren't searching through 1,000 memories. You are just retrieving the headline.
It reduces the cognitive load. You aren't trying to remember the past and translate and speak all at once. You have already done the remembering part.
Exactly. It frees up your brain power to focus on listening to their answer.
And that is where the real connection happens. Once you have survived the first 10 seconds, the rest of the conversation is much easier.
It really is. The hardest part is the opening serve. Once the ball is in play, you will be fine.
I want to ask you, James, since you have learned other languages, how long did it take you to get comfortable with this specific interaction?
Honestly, months. Because I kept trying to be perfect. I thought I had to say something impressive. I thought if I said I just slept, they would think I was a lazy person.
But that wasn't true?
Not at all. When I finally started saying, oh, I was super lazy, I just watched TV, my Spanish colleagues would laugh and say, oh, I am so jealous, I had to visit my in-laws. It actually created a bond. We bonded over being lazy.
That is such a key lesson. Vulnerability, admitting you were lazy or tired, is actually more connecting than pretending to be a superhero who hiked a mountain and learned to bake bread.
Real life is relatable. Perfection is distancing.
So don't try to impress your colleagues with your weekend activities. Impress them with your interest in their weekend.
That is the takeaway. Be interested, not interesting.
Before we finish, let's do one final speed round of the simulator. I want to give our listeners one more chance to lock this in.
Great idea. This time, I'm going to be a bit more casual. I'm a friend you meet at the bus stop. Hey, long time no see. How was your weekend? Do anything fun? Wait for listener response.
Did you start with the adjective? It was great, it was quiet, it was okay?
Did you give one highlight? I went to the cinema. I cooked dinner.
And did you bounce it back? How about you?
If you did those 3 things, congratulations. You just had a fluent, natural English conversation.
It really is that simple. The structure saves you.
I want to challenge everyone watching this. Next Monday is your test day.
Yes, this is not just a video to watch and forget. This is training for next Monday.
Your challenge is to use the highlight method with the first person who asks you about your weekend. Do not give the list. Do not just say good.
Use the script. It was adjective, I mostly just verbing. And then ask them back.
And observe the result. See if the conversation flows better. See if you feel less panic.
I bet you will feel a huge weight off your shoulders.
And please, tell us how it went. We love reading your stories in the comments. If you tried the I mostly just technique, let us know if it worked.
Right now in the comments, I want you to practice step 1. Write exactly what you will say next Monday. Imagine your plan for the weekend and write your script.
It will be chill. I will mostly just fill in the blank.
We will go through and correct the first 10 comments to make sure your grammar is perfect for Monday morning.
Get that script ready. You are going to crush it.
You've got this. See you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.